Well, I thought it was a terrible thing when she ripped up the speech. First of all, it's an official document. You're not allowed. It's illegal what she did. She broke the law.
There's Donald Trump from a few years ago complaining about how Nancy Pelosi at his State of the Union speech at the time ripped up the speech after it was over. It was a bit of a show, but some people enjoyed it. Now, he was talking about how illegal that could have been. It's weird how we've all evolved till now. As we've heard about how Donald Trump has ripped up documents and things throughout the White House, potentially flushed them down toilets, clogged them up with the rest of his mess. But, sorry. But now we've discovered that Donald Trump is also, he took a few of those very much classified documents from the White House to Mar-A-Lago, I guess just for fun. The Associated Press reports about what was going on here. They said classified information was found in the 15 boxes of White House records that were stored at former President Donald Trump's Mar-A-Lago residence, is what the National Archives and Records Administration said on Friday in a letter that was sent to the Justice Department. In case you didn't know, taking classified documents and taking them home is illegal. Federal law bars the removal of classified documents to unauthorized locations, though it is possible that Trump could try to argue that as president, he was the ultimate declassification authority. I'm not sure who's gonna argue that. Here's some more of the illegal stuff that he was up to. The letter from the archivist in response to the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, which is investigating, also details how certain social media records were not captured and preserved by the Trump administration. And it also says that the agency learned that the White House staff frequently conducted official business using unofficial messaging accounts and personal phones. I've heard about that happening before too that they complained about. Those staff did not copy or forward their official messaging accounts as required by the Presidential Records Act. So also the letter says that after he left the White House, the National Archives learned that additional paper records had been torn up, as we mentioned before. So although the White House staff during the Trump administration recovered and taped together some of the torn up records, a number of the other torn up records that were transferred had not been reconstructed by the White House. So for Trump, these investigators will be looking to see if his actions, both during his presidency and after, violated the Presidential Records Act, which was enacted in '78 after Richard Nixon wanted to destroy documents related to the Watergate scandal. The law mandates the presidential records are the property of the US government rather than belonging to the president himself. A statute punishable by up to 3 years in prison makes it a crime to conceal or intentionally destroy government records. Now I mentioned before when we talked about him ripping things up and sticking them down his mouth and then putting them in his bag, that was a thing that they could potentially come after him for. But there's no teeth or any kind of enforcement to that law. There's definitely some enforcement and teeth to taking classified documents and taking them home with you.
So if you're looking forward to Donald Trump spending 3 years in prison because he broke that law and the punishment for breaking that law is 3 years, get real and welcome to America, where Republicans break the law all the time. Democrats never hold them accountable, and that's why they feel like they're brazenly above the law. Trump acts that way, and so far in over 70 years of life, he's been proven right. He's broken brazenly broken dozens of laws and never been held to account. And so in the middle of the story was buried the fact that the Justice Department and the FBI say that they are not looking into it. Because the Justice Department, of course, run by Merrick Garland, who was denied a seat on the Supreme Court for over a year because the Republicans said, we don't care that Obama's president, we're just gonna cheat and we're just not gonna let you on the court, okay? And so now Merrick Garland comes into office. These thugs and criminals are in the middle of breaking laws. Like, oh, Republicans, I'm so scared of them. Democrats, man. So look, guys, he's in a lot of trouble in cases in New York where civil and criminal charges are actually being pursued for financial fraud. I'll give you some quotes from the judge in that case in a second, because that one's awesome, and he actually could be in trouble for that one. But remember, mishandling classified information is not only illegal, but the #1 criticism they had of Hillary Clinton. Her emails, and they used to say, what if there were classified materials in those emails, and then she should be locked up and executed and all those other things. And now Trump, we know, took classified materials, mishandled them, put them in Mar-A-Lago. By the way, Mar-A-Lago infested with Chinese spies. We did that story when he was president. A Chinese spy just walked in, he's like, he'll take anybody's money. He's like, oh, you got $20? All right, yeah, come on in, okay. And he was doing negotiations with foreign leaders as diners were walking by him in Mar-A-Lago. So do you think those documents were well protected at Mar-A-Lago? Hell no. So it's a massive mishandling of classified information. If it was someone who had given evidence about how the government was doing wrongdoing, either under a Democratic or Republican administration, that person would definitely go to jail for 3 years. Right? But it's Trump, there'll probably be no consequences.
How many toilets is he trying to flush these things down? Is he just going from toilet to toilet? Well, this one's clogged now. I guess I better go to Florida and try the toilets in Florida. Like, what's happening?
Water flows better.
Yeah, but Helen, that's actually kind of literally true. The first time the toilet story came out, about a week ago or so, I remembered a clip, and we found it, of Trump mysteriously in the middle of a gathering of his cabinet, just started talking about clogged toilets. He's like, there's all these water pressure issues in the White House, and and I'm sure it's not that anybody's doing anything wrong to clog the toilets. We're like, I remember at the time we ran the clip, we're like, what the hell? What kind of bathroom problems does he have, right? It turns out he's flushing classified information down the toilets because it's damaging to him. And at the time, officials in the White House were like, sir, it is deeply illegal to destroy those documents. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's the water pressure problem, that's what it is. And then since he's a moron and he has diarrhea of the mouth as well, he goes into the middle of everybody. He's like, the toilet problems are not a real issue. Everybody's like, what toilet problems? Okay, so now we know.
I am so glad that you went after Merrick Garland, Cenk, because if I was Merrick Garland and I was denied a seat on the Supreme Court for life, the way that it was done to him, the second I got to be the head of the Justice Department, I'd be like putting on my gloves like, oh, payback's a biatch. Like, I would be all up in it. What is this guy doing? He's just like, you know what? The Bible says turn the other cheek, right, guys?
Yeah.
How many cheeks are you gonna turn, Merrick? Can you please save America, literally, and the rest of the world from possibly another run by Trump for president, please?
Yeah, I think Merrick Garland's out of cheeks. And you don't have to have a vengeance against Trump. We're asking for the bare minimum, Democrats. How often do we have to ask for the bare minimum? Just enforce the law like you would on anyone. We're not asking for anything special for Trump. All right, I got to come back to the judges on the criminal and civil cases on financial fraud. The Trump lawyers did this a clown show, as always, right? In the New York hearings. The judge literally had to call a timeout because it was so out of hand. He went like this. He's like, timeout. That's not an official court thing to do, but it's because the Trump lawyers are screaming nonstop. And they're like, oh, the prosecutor doesn't like us. And the judge is like, the prosecutor not liking you is not a defense. He's like, he said they had copious documents. They had so many documents proving his fraud that the judge said it would be a dereliction of duty not to prosecute him. Like, if you have all this information and you don't prosecute, like, you would be sanctioned as a prosecutor, because why are you weirdly protecting him? By the way, that judge should ask Merrick Garland the same question on the National Archives issue, right? Let alone 1,000 other issues. And the judge went on to clarify, there is sworn congressional testimony that he committed financial fraud. And then the Trump's lawyer comes and goes, that was from Michael Cohen, he was convicted of lying. And the judge says, he was convicted of lying on behalf of Donald Trump for financial fraud. Are you saying that actually proves Trump is innocent? The lawyer's like, yep. He said, your argument is as audacious as it is preposterous. That was a quote from the judge. Okay, go ahead.
As the bank robbers were fighting over who's gonna face charges, they said, well, you gonna believe that guy? He robbed a bank.
But that's almost literally what happened. That's almost literally, but it only got worse. There was the recent revelation that on financial fraud, that came out, and the Trump team was like, well, that actually proves we didn't do it. And the judge is like, no, the facts showing that you did do it are evidence that you actually did it, not that you didn't. And he's like, is this real? Time out.
I would have loved to have seen a thought bubble of like what that judge was actually thinking. It's just like all F words. He's like, what the F.
So Trump had a really bad week. Several different crimes that he seems to have clearly committed. He's being pursued in a civil case in one of them. And of course, now this is my favorite one too. I'll give you one last one, absurdity. So he's being pursued in civil and criminal cases on the financial and tax fraud, right? And he says, I shouldn't have to come in and testify, because if I do, I would have to do the Fifth Amendment not to incriminate myself in the criminal case. And so that's why you should end the civil case against me. The judge is like, wait, let me get this right. Since you would claim in the civil case that you don't want to answer questions because you definitely did it, and that would incriminate you in the criminal case, I should let you off in the civil case because you just told me you did it. Judges, the lawyers are like, yep. Just like, no, that's not how it works. You have to testify. So now Trump and two of his idiot kids have to testify in New York. So that's a big win.
These activist judges, man.
Okay. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.